what's good, y'all? It's Stinger, and today I'm going to be showing each and every one of you how to make a 90s R&B beat in the style of Lawsy and Dior Winter. And the beat that we'll be going over sounds a little something like this. Alright, so let's just dive right into this. The first thing that I laid down was the Tine Electric Piano 1 from Purity, and I have it playing a 6-5-1-7 chord progression in the G major scale. So this is what that chord progression sounds like. The only thing that's really significant about these chords is the way that they're strummed. Instead of hitting all S to strum them and then just leaving them as they are, I'll displace one of the notes to make it sound more human-like. And then the majority of these chords are just sevenths, ninths, and triads, except for this last one. For this last chord, I just took the seventh and brought it down one semitone, but that made it go out of key, but I really like how it sounds. Also, a quick tip, if you're going to be using any kind of diminished chords or out of key chords, I suggest playing the normal chord before playing your diminished chord. That way it isn't just like a freaking slap in the face for the listener. It's like, oh, that's an out of key note. Like, it's kind of a gradual transition. All right, so the next thing that I have laid down is this acoustic piano from Purity yet again, and it's just playing the same melody as before, except I added on a top line. If you're stuck with top line melodies, I suggest starting out with like the third or the fifth or even the seventh of the chord you're working with, and then just build a melody off of whatever sounds good afterwards. Also, as you can tell, I integrated a lot of strum notes for the top line melody, and adding in strum notes is actually just a hack for making your top line sound better. I don't know what it is about them, but that little like extra little flair just makes it sound so much better. All right, so the next thing that I have down is this sine lead from Serum, and this is the freaking glue that holds this beat together. Give it a listen. Honestly, the only tips that I have for leads are to use a MIDI keyboard and then just play around with the notes in the scale. For me, there's no like lead hack, so to speak. I just go with whatever sounds good. Also, I like to make my leads kind of sound like a vocal turned into an instrument. And the way I make my leads sound kind of human is I enable mono and legato in the voicing section. What mono does is it makes it so only one note can play at a time. And what legato does is it makes it so that there's a transition between those two notes. And then I make use of this by overlapping and strumming certain notes in the lead. All right, so the next thing that I have for the melody is this violin from BBC Symphonic Orchestra playing a high lead melody. And for most of these notes, I have them playing either the fifth or the seventh, or right here I have it playing the fourth. I know I've said this a lot, but just kind of go with whatever sounds good to you. All right, and the next thing that I have is this guitar from Omnisphere. And all I did for that was I copied over the violin melody, and then I just added in some transition notes. And here we have the final portion of the melody being this bass from Purity. For the most part, it's just playing the root note of the melody, but I added in these two little transition notes so that the transition from the end of the melody to the beginning of the melody is sort of seamless. So with that being said, this is what the melody sounds like all together. And if you're wondering how I mix my melodies, you can check out the video on the top left of the screen where I go in detail on how I mix my melodies. All right, so now let's go into the drums. I'm gonna just freaking fly through the drums because these are stupid simple. There's really not much to them. First thing that I have down is this kick from my Hive Stash kit playing a basic pattern. After that, I threw down this snare, and most of the drum sounds in this beat are from WB5's 90s and 2000s R&B kit. So here's what that snare sounds like. And then I also layered it with this snare. After that, I threw down some semi-acoustic hi-hats playing this pattern. Next, I threw down this classic perk, as well as this tambourine, and this open hat with a quick cutoff. And the final two things that I have for the drums are this crash, and this R&B sprinkles effect. So with the drums and the melody and everything all together, this is what the beat sounds like. Also, if you're wondering how I mix my drums, arrange my beats, master my beats, I have a playlist in the top left where I go over all of my beat making basics. So that's gonna pretty much conclude how to make a 90s R&B beat for Lawsy and Dior Winter. Hopefully you enjoyed the tutorial and learned something new. If you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the comments down below and I will do my best to answer them. Also consider subscribing as I post 4 tutorials every week, 2 long ones and 2 short ones. Other than that, that's gonna be it. Peace.